So, you want to be a game dev? Great, me too. I've been working on this game dev thing for a while now, and I'm making this video to help you, oh viewer, start your journey from level 1 crook to level 100 game dev boss. Tip number 1, inspiration. Inspiration comes from unlikely places, so it's important to keep your eyes and ears open. Did you watch a Vsauce video about a cake with infinite surface area but finite volume? That's cool and wacky, and that could be a fun game idea. It's important with inspiration and the creative process to collect lots of ideas and themes. If you play games, think of your favorite elements and mechanics and how you would combine them to make a new game. However, simplicity in a game is beautiful too. There is a balance between complexity and simplicity in game design which is hard to find. And honestly, takes practice and a good feel for games to totally learn. Your idea and inspiration should take the form of an elevator pitch. Come up with a way to express the game idea in a few sentences. My game is about a gelatinous cube which moves around in a world that is slowly falling apart. The cube collects junk and trash to get bigger. However, he's being hunted by other cubes that are trying to kill him. That is a great start. At this stage, you should try and imagine what your final game will look like, what kind of world you'll create, and how the player will interact with your world. You might want to sketch some UI or character designs, or write some test code to try out a mechanic or data structure. Tip number 2, scope. Now it's time to get to business. You've got an idea and some grand designs for the future, but how do you bring that dream into the real world? If this is your first game, you need to start small. Definitely follow a tutorial for your first game. If you're using Godot or Pico 8, check out Game From Scratch or Lazy Devs for some legendary tutorials about using those tools. For an intermediate project, try choosing 1 to 2 scopes. What's a scope? Think of a feature or gameplay element you want to implement. For our Dungeon Slime game, 2 features I want to program are the ability for our slime character to eat garbage and get bigger, and be chased by enemies. This doesn't seem like a lot at first, but think of all the systems that constitute these 2 features. We need a slime that can move, collide with walls, obstacles, and consumables, as well as enemies which can pathfind to the character, collide with the character and deal damage or end the game, randomly spawning garbage, maybe a scoring or timer system, as well as all the art assets, sound effects, music, and user interface. That's a lot of work for one person, and if you're new, you need to start small. Tip number 3, drive.
It's about drive.
Think about any job you've ever done. When the job is fun, time flies and it's a great day. Sometimes the work doesn't even feel like work, especially if you've got great music or fun coworkers. Now, consider another day at that job. Everything is hard, boring, doesn't work, and you feel like giving up. With any job, you've got days which are amazing, days that are hard, and just meh days. Game dev is creative work that you take on yourself to do. No one is pushing you to finish the game except yourself. You're gonna have some great days making your game, but there's gonna be days where nothing works, you can't seem to solve that bug, and player's character sprite looks like garbage and each iteration is worse than the last, and on and on. But you're also going to have victories. Think about squashing that bug, making a beautiful UI element, or the satisfaction from putting art that you made out into the world for your friends and family to enjoy. Take time to solve the hard problems, but don't forget to keep your eyes on the end goal. Tip number 4, friends. Ash had Pikachu, Gordon had G-Man, Peabody had Atlas, and Spelunky Guy had Sir Tacos. This would be a great time to say, it's dangerous to go alone, take this, but I'm not going to. The point is, challenges are easier with friends. Do you know someone who's got a similar creative abilities and that you can talk about game ideas with? Do they have a drive or interest in games or motivate you to be creative? Consider asking them to join your game dev team. If you have different talents, like art, programming, or music, you can bring different things to the team and grow in confidence in your abilities and help your teammate grow in their skills too. It's also good to have another person to bounce ideas off of or help you come up with new ideas you couldn't have thought of on your own. Sometimes it can be hard to be vulnerable and share your ideas with others, so it's important to have a teammate you can trust. I have a teammate, Heck Z, and he really helps me stay inspired and motivated when working on a project. We worked on one night at Corwin's together and created that game in 17 days, and I attribute that to the excitement that he brought to our team. He's also really good at game testing, which helps us find and fix bugs before the game is sent into the outside world. Thanks, Hex, you mean a lot to me. Tip 5, practice. I read on the wall at my college that practice makes better. Doing game development is hard, but so rewarding. The feeling of creating something from basic tools, text, and pixels, being proud of it and sharing it with others is amazing. While you're first learning the ropes, start small and work your way up. I talked a bit about scope, but take the idea of a small project to heart and focus on completion over feature count. If you start small, the project won't get out of hand too fast, and you won't feel like you're in over your head. Plus, those small games are great benchmarks to come back to as you get better. My first project was called Terminus, and our scope was way too big for a first project. It was buggy, janky, and never finished. But I still have the files for that game, and sometimes I'll look back on it and see how far I've come as a game dev. That's enough of me talking. Now I challenge you to start your game dev journey right now. Below are links to great lazy devs and game from scratch tutorials. If you're brand new to coding and pixel art, I recommend you start with Pico 8. You can use it for free in your browser, and it's a great way to start learning programming. If you've been around the block before and have used Unity or another engine in the past, give the free and open source Godot a shot. That's all I got for you. I wish you luck on your adventures, and feel free to join the Brimless Games Discord server and show off your projects. I'm looking forward to seeing what you create.